A special prisoner exchange, successes in the Donetsk region and more. I'll tell you what made the 34th Independence Day of Ukraine memorable. Hello, I'm Irina Kondrachuk. You're watching TSN Online. Leave a like on this video and tell us where, in which region or country you're celebrating Independence Day this year. Meanwhile, we're starting the broadcast. On Independence Day, 146 military personnel and civilians returned home, once again setting foot on Ukrainian soil. Today, another prisoner exchange took place. Among those who returned are border guards, National Guardsmen, and soldiers of the armed forces. Also among them are, from Kherson, Volodymyrivka, abducted by occupiers in April 2022, and our colleague, journalist from Naiwan's Dnipropetrovsk, held in Russian prisons since March 2022. The first emotions of the long-awaited reunion, as always, are captured by TSN correspondents.
Glory to Ukraine, guys! Thank you so much! Thank you! Glory to the heroes of Ukraine! Glory to the heroes of Ukraine! Glory to the heroes of Ukraine!
Thank you! Friends, colleagues, first of all, on the eve of Independence Day, glory to Ukraine. Secondly, I'm very moved. It was very unexpected, very surprising to be welcomed like this.
I knew people cared about me, I suspected it, but I never thought it would be to this extent.
Thank you, everyone. Glory to Ukraine!
Glory to the valiant heroes of Ukraine!
Starry.
Girls! Girls!
Have you been to Isparan? Stinavmi? And are there still lumps in your feet? We attract.
Ukraine! Bundes! Let's celebrate at home! Glory to Ukraine! We have glory! Glory to Nati! Glory to Ukraine! Ukraine! Bundes! Ukraine!
Bundes, yes!
Ukraine!
Bundes, yes.
And we will proudly and unequivocally show to all the world that we are indeed true and steadfast brothers, forever bound by the ancient, sacred, and revered Kozatsky law. Glory to Ukraine! Eternal glory to Ukraine! Glory to the heroes!
Glory to Ukraine, truly.
Glory to Nati! We have glory, Ukraine! Bundes!
Several high-ranking guests arrived in Kyiv. In particular, the first visit to Ukraine was by the new Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. In his speech at Sofievska Square, Carney stated that Ottawa will continue to strengthen its support for Kyiv. According to him, Canada will provide another $1 billion for the supply of drones, ammunition, and armored vehicles to Ukraine. Also present at the ceremony was the special representative of the U.S. President Keith Kellogg. President Zelensky awarded the American general the Order of Merit First Class. Zelensky also presented an award to Sweden's Minister of Defense, Paul Johnson. Our military personnel also received high honors. Many countries around the world sent their congratulations to Ukraine. Norway and Germany also announced that they will fund the purchase of 2 Patriot systems for Ukraine. President Zelensky also recorded a congratulatory message for all his fellow citizens. He addressed Ukrainians from Maidan, saying that even in 100 years, our descendants will stand here. Zelensky assured that Ukraine will be able to achieve peace and liberate the territories occupied by the Russians. Your courage is inspiring. Donald Trump congratulated Ukraine on Independence Day. The letter from the US president was made public by Volodymyr Zelensky. The people of Ukraine have an unbreakable spirit, and the courage of your country inspires many. On this truly important day, please know that the United States profoundly respects your struggle, deeply honors your sacrifices, and firmly believes in your future as an independent nation, Trump wrote. He also stated that it is time to put an end to the senseless killings and added that the United States supports negotiations for a settlement that will lead to a strong and lasting peace, put an end to the bloodshed, and protect Ukraine's sovereignty and dignity. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio also congratulated Ukraine, saying, and I quote, "The United States is committed to Ukraine's future as an independent state. We believe in a negotiated settlement that protects Ukraine's sovereignty and guarantees its long-term security, which will lead to a lasting peace," the State Department statement said. However, Russia is showing its true intentions regarding peace in Ukraine, and last night was no exception, with about 50 enemy drones. Our air defenders managed to destroy them, according to the Air Force. In total, the enemy launched 72 drones from Russia's Kursk, Milerovo, Primorsko-Akhtarsk, and one Iskander-M ballistic missile from Taganrog in the middle of the night. The northern, southern, and eastern regions came under attack. Ukrainian air defenders managed to destroy 48 drones. However, 24 more UAVs and the missile still hit 10 locations. 3 kamikaze drones exploded in the suburbs of Kherson, and 2 hours later, the regional center came under artillery fire. The consequences of these attacks are still being clarified, and in the morning, a municipal worker was already being treated for blast injuries. The Russians dropped an explosive device on him from a drone. Over the past day, 1 person was killed in the region. 2 more people, including a teenager, were wounded. Kharkiv is once again suffering from enemy strikes. In the village of Syrskyi, 2 women were wounded, and in Kupiansk, a police officer was injured during the evacuation of people. A police service vehicle, 3 ambulances, the grounds of the emergency medical center, and residential buildings were damaged. A 47-year-old woman was attacked by the occupiers in her own home in the Dnipropetrovsk region. At dawn, a drone strike hit the Sinelnikivsky district. The explosion caused fires in both apartment buildings and private homes and damaged an agricultural enterprise. The invaders also attacked 2 more communities and Nikopol with artillery and drones, while Pavlohrad suffered a missile strike. Rescuers worked to put out the flames. A man and a woman were wounded in Kharkiv, Zaporizhzhia region. Across the frontline settlements, the enemy carried out nearly 500 attacks, used aviation, more than 300 drones, and delivered over 150 artillery strikes. Do you believe in a quick peace? And if so, when and under what conditions do you think it could realistically happen? Share your thoughts in the comments under this broadcast on YouTube, and of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. In the meantime, I'll continue with the broadcast. We have some good news today from Donetsk region. There, Ukrainian soldiers counterattacked and liberated 3 villages at once: Mykhailivka, Zelenyi Hai, and Volodymyrivka. This was reported by Alexander Syrskyi. Today, he visited the front lines and met with the soldiers who are holding the defense of Pokrovsk. He says this is currently one of the toughest directions on the front, where the enemy attacks every day with large forces. But Ukrainian fighters manage to hold back the onslaught and inflict significant losses on the occupiers every day. It was also intense in other directions today. Ukrainian troops blew up a crossing in the Belgorod region. The occupiers mined the bridge in case our soldiers tried to cross. But the first to arrive was a Ukrainian drone, which put on a real fire show. Also, according to Deep State, Ukrainian troops pushed the occupiers back from Kolondrivka in the Sumy region and advanced 3.5 kilometers deeper. The enemy tried to break through near Vilnopol in the Donetsk region, but there Ukrainian units are successfully holding their positions. Our defenders managed to overcome the main threat in the Dobropilya area, but the Russians are trying to attack it from the north in large groups. And they have a significant advantage in manpower. The invaders are also pressing toward the Serebryansk forestry area, where the number of battles has also increased. The occupiers also want to take control of the outskirts of Pokrovsk, according to the military. The enemy often resorts to tricks. In particular, their fighters have been captured on the Pokrovsk front. There have also been cases where Russians were captured wearing civilian clothes or in Ukrainian pixel camouflage with weapons. And now now about enemy losses. Here are the latest figures from the General Staff of Ukraine. The Russian occupiers lost 910 soldiers killed and wounded over the past day. In total, since the beginning of the full-scale invasion, Russian forces have decreased by 1,076,070 troops. Our defenders have also destroyed enemy equipment. In the fighting, more than 11,000 tanks and over 23,000 armored combat vehicles have been destroyed. Additionally, 31,898 enemy artillery systems and 211 air defense systems have been eliminated. More than 53,000 tactical-level drones have been neutralized. To date, 422 Russian aircraft and 340 helicopters have been shot down. At sea, 28 ships and boats, as well as 1 submarine, have been neutralized. On the occasion of Ukraine's Independence Day, fireworks are taking place simultaneously at several oil and gas industrial facilities. On the night of August 24th, Ukrainian drones struck the Novatek gas rectification terminal, located in the port of Ust-Luga on the Baltic Sea. According to preliminary data, the gas condensate fractionation and transshipment unit was hit. The Ust-Luga marine terminal is one of the key logistical facilities on the Baltic Sea. From here, energy resources are exported via the so-called shadow fleet, bypassing sanctions. Aviation fuel, fuel oil, and diesel, essential for refueling Russian military equipment, are also produced here. Last night, drones also struck the Syzran oil refinery in the Samara region. This was confirmed by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The results of the strikes are currently being clarified. And for the 4th day, a festive fireworks display continues at the Novoshakhtinsk oil refinery in the Rostov region. At the refinery that Putin once handed over to Medvedchuk, fuel storage tanks are burning. This is a shortage now acutely felt by both enemy troops and civilian Russians in many regions. On crutches, wheelchairs, and with canes, more than 50 war refugees with disabilities set out for their new homes. After years under shelling and months in shelters, they were taken from Dnipropetrovsk region to geriatric boarding houses in the Kyiv region. At the East SOS Charity Foundation, which took care of them, they say there is a catastrophic shortage of places in the region. Every day, up to 500 people arrive at the transit center for displaced persons in Pavlograd, and hundreds, under the threat of explosions, wait in line for a chance at life. TSN correspondent Anastasia Nevirna will tell you more.
Ms. Maria has been sitting on a bed for some time now, which for several months has been her only possession and personal space. She is 85 years old and from Pokrovsk in the Donetsk region. A year ago, her daughter was killed there by an occupier's strike, and recently volunteers barely managed to persuade her to leave herself.
I want to know, it's hard to leave everything behind. They put a coat on me and gave me boots, and that's it, and my passport, and that's all. Because I really didn't want to leave.
In Dnipro, they gave her some treatment for her nerves, but she is still very scared. Little is known about the woman's future. She only knows the region she is going to.
They said Kyiv region, I don't know for sure yet, but I really want to go to my children.
Mrs. Alexandra from Sloviansk is just as worried. The women lived in adjacent beds for several months.
Very much.
Very anxious, like when something new happens. Everyone wants things to be better.
It's time to say goodbye. Volunteers carry simple crumpled bags and transfer women to chairs.
No hurry. The same thing.
Before boarding the bus, Maria just can't say goodbye to the volunteers. They supported her all these months in the shelter. They agreed to definitely meet again.
Perhaps we will meet again and celebrate a glorious victory with a little fine cognac.
Oh my God.
I want that so much.
Mrs. Maria is helped into the bus, and those who can't move at all are carried on stretchers. The buses and ambulances head to the station. In an hour, the evacuation train will arrive there, loading people onto it, many of whom find it hard even to lie down. Another ordeal.
This is it!
They're filming you, not me. And that, my friend, is what I would truly call real heroism.
However, the volunteers, who know their job well, work like a well-oiled machine and quickly carry the infirm into the train cars. In the train, Mr. Alexander from Monograd has settled in. The fact that he didn't leave in time almost cost the man his life.
He was riding his bike along the road when a shell landed. After the explosion, I didn't understand anything in the dust and came to my senses in the weeds. Thanks to people, they pulled me out. Now it's evacuation.
Today, 52 people with limited mobility are being transported to geriatric care homes. Most of them are beneficiaries of the Skiresos Charitable Foundation.
These individuals cannot live independently, they cannot adequately take care of themselves, and they are unable to easily access essential services, various stores, and so on. That is, given their condition, they need to stay in facilities where there is appropriate staff.
Evacuation teams from Skiresos have helped hundreds of such people escape from the front line. However, now every trip poses a threat to the lives of humanitarian workers and evacuees due to attacks by FPV drones. That's why the charity is raising funds for electronic warfare systems so they can safely save even more lives.
In all of the specific areas where our dedicated evacuation teams are currently operating, they are directly situated within the drone strike zone. We are actively raising over 2 million HRIVNIAs for more than 6 essential systems. And this crucial funding will comprehensively cover our primary and most pressing need for our teams, as we clearly see it.
Sending these 52 people to a new place will free up rooms in the Dnipro shelter for other people with limited mobility. Because just in the East SOS team alone, in the so-called Queue for Life, there are over 100 people.
This queue for life exists precisely because there aren't enough suitable places in Ukraine to accommodate such people. Either there are no such available places, or they need to be properly equipped, or significant renovations need to be done in the facilities.
Soon, the next group is planned to be sent to the Kyiv region, but volunteers emphasize that this is just a drop in the ocean, because every day just from Donetsk and Dnipropetrovsk regions alone, they evacuate more than 400 people, and a significant portion of them require special accommodation conditions. Anastasia Navirna, Vladislav Commission, Dnipro, TSN, 1+1.
It self-destructed in honor of a Ukrainian holiday. A Russian fighter jet crashed in Stepanakert, the capital of Armenia, Yerevan, with no casualties reported. The incident occurred last night. The MiG-29 failed to avoid a power pole, which caused it to crash onto the road. A video of the accident appeared on a local YouTube channel. Patrol officers and military police from the Armenian Ministry of Defense were forced to block traffic on the road leading to Erebuni Airport. Local media suggest that at the time of the accident, the 35-year-old Russian aircraft was being transported to a local airbase after being decommissioned as part of the Tashkent Collective Security Treaty. The Armenian airfield itself became the final station of service for the classic MiG-29 fighter jets, which the Russian aerospace forces are actively decommissioning. As for this particular aircraft, it was last seen in the airspace back in 2022. And symbolically, on Independence Day, both the weather in the US and an installation representing the embodiment of threats, including the approach of a possible World War III, supported Ukrainians as a storm tore it apart. Today was the first and last day of the Black Cloud. That's how Vitaly Deinega, the producer of the composition, commented on the incident on his social media. He said that just a day after being installed in the desert, the sculpture visualizing the approach of disaster was destroyed by a powerful wind. Ukraine brought this installation specifically to the American Festival of Independent Art, Burning Man, and before that, it was seen by Kyiv residents and visitors to the capital. Pozdeinega's post has already gathered hundreds of comments where, in particular, Ukrainians write that the installation turned into a real performance featuring the festival's headliner, Her Majesty Planet Earth. And what signs of fate do you see in such events? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments under this video and don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss our broadcasts. With that, I wrap up this news segment and once again, happy holiday. Wishing all of us a safe home and ultimately a peaceful Ukrainian sky. Stay with TSN.